So
To take my point about if it's 4,000 years from the kinds into the extraordinary biodiversity that we have, all the different species, all the different types of big cat and cat and meerkat, and do you want me to go on? That happened in 4,000 years. It would have been in front of our very eyes, and animals would have been morphing in front of our very eyes, like some science fiction take. People believe this stuff.
is this a failing of the ape human brain? This ability to comprehend large scales of time. I mean, I start to get foggy when I'm thinking about 3 weeks ago, and now I'm being told to perceive 250,000 years of human evolution or whatever it is. There's just no sort of mechanism in my brain to visualize that in any sort of competent manner, I don't think.
Yeah. These people, they're very comfortable with eternity, but they can't handle infinity.
That's clever.
It's true. But if you say, how long were the dinosaurs here? People say, oh, I don't know. But it's what? Is it, off the top of my, I can't remember. It's like 200 million years or something. 100, is it 180? Is it 220? Or is it 270? The figures just slipped by because I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning.
Bloody ages.
It's a long time. Think about that. Think about how long that, say it's 180 million years. Think about how long that is.
Oh. It's gone.
I know. Our common ancestor with the chimp was like 6 million years ago, which is nothing. It's nothing in the great span of time. Of course, it's difficult to get your head around this stuff. And what's it been called? Complexity phobia.
That's new.
Yeah, it's a phrase for it. Complexity phobia. It's just too much to try and get your head around, so you retreat into certainties and simplicities.
I mean, it's a product of our evolution as well. I mean, we've evolved to the ability to communicate and investigate things, but knowing we evolved how many hundreds of thousands of years ago, I'm not sure that helps us in any sort of evolutionary sense. And maybe that's one of the reasons our brain resists and imagines. I mean, there's some good reasons to believe we've evolved, to believe in a creator or a sort of father figure watching over us and looking out for us. Yeah. And, now we're breaking through our natural programming, for want of a better word, and we're coming up with some very uncomfortable dead ends mentally.
I think you can see it both. I think you can see the embryo of our belief in the creator in certain so-called higher mammals. Because if you see, I have a great interest in animals and in conservation and a great passion for it. If you see elephants, they've got a massively developed brain and hypothalamus. And if you see elephants mourning a dead one, they literally do line up and they push the young forward to tenderly touch the dead with the trunk, and they kind of one by one, and they stroke the dead, and they really suffer with grief. You can see, like, if they took a step further than that, they'd want to know that why, and they'd want to see that dead loved one again. You can see it comes from that crushing grief and that sadness and that why is that? They did an experiment on the Amboseli in Kenya whereby it's very cruel, but it's interesting. Or callous is a better word, but they played on loudspeakers the call of the deceased matriarch, and the herd went crazy with confusion, distress, confusion, looking around, running around everywhere, not understanding what was going on. So it's that's a kind of beginning of that sense of mortality. And how do you deal with infant mortality? How do you deal with losing loved ones? It's not just trying to make sense of the world, it's trying to make sense of your sadness.
But speaking of creator,
this better be a good segue here.
Did that make sense? All that stuff.
Devastating. Yeah.
Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in God, or do you have any faith?
No.
Straight out with it.
I was expecting something a little bit more, I don't know, drawn out and diplomatic. Well, but no, just straight out.
No, I believe the explanation of science is so much more majestic. As Darwin said in the final paragraph on the origin of species, there is grandeur in this view of life. There is so much grandeur and so much beauty and profundity. You don't have to play games with salamanders, evolving in front of our very eyes. You don't have to. You can love geology and anthropology and all the ologies. I've got a list of ologies somewhere.
Oleology.
It's so overwhelmingly, fantastically awe-inspiring, more awe-inspiring than any religion, don't you think? It's fantastic. The marvel, the miracle's the wrong word. The magic of reality. That was Dawkins' phrase, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's something about naturalistic explanations, and once you accept that as the chief guiding force in terms of understanding the world, you realize how much more you need to learn and how little time you've got to do it. Whereas faith, a lot of the time, to many, not everyone, but it's handing over the answers and saying no further questions, Your Honor, kind of mentality, and that's debilitating to me a little bit. I want to be able to find out more and scratch away and enrich my knowledge rather than have easy answers that can't be questioned.
It's like, if intelligent design in schools. So today's lesson is, how did the eye evolve? God did it.
Yep.
All right.
Lunch.
Have the rest of the afternoon off.